Hello, and thanks for joining me for another Pilates video. It's quite a wintry day in New Zealand today, so I'm wearing my very bright t-shirt of a fantail. This bird is called a piwaka, and it darts around in air. It's a very cheeky bird. It's got its wings very nicely spread, and we are going to be doing some things with spreading our fingers and maybe a little bit of spreading our wings as well today. So hopefully my t-shirt will give you a little bit of inspiration today. I'm in socks today, and I'm going to be doing a couple of little sliding out movements with my legs. You can step out instead if you prefer. You don't have to slide, but it's a little option today if you would like to do that with some of the exercises. So let's make a start. So I'm going to sit towards the front edge of my chair so it's not tempting me to slump and round my back. I want to think about my posture, really sitting on the base of my pelvis. I have my two sit bones, not leaning to one side more than the other. In order for me to sit upright, I need to think about my abdominals and pulling my belly button in, and that will naturally then contract and support the muscles at the back of the body, my spine, and it will help me to sit up a little bit taller. Sometimes we need to think about working a little deeper into our abdominals, and so you might want to pull your belly button in a little bit more once we start sliding the legs and maybe moving the arms a bit. But you're always starting with a little connection into our belly button and into our core. We're going to talk about breathing, and I'm thinking about breathing into my rib cage, kind of here either side, trying to breathe into the bottom of my lungs rather than just up at the top where you can kind of just sniff some breaths in. When we're breathing, if you feel lightheaded at all, you just want to go back to your natural breath rhythm and your natural breath cycle. Really important not to overthink it. Okay, so let's make a start. Let's talk about our alignment. So I have my feet about hip distance apart, and I'm judging that by the hip bones at the front of my pelvis, not the very outside of my hips, but right at the front. And from there, we could trace a line forward that will go through the middle of the knees. So we're trying not to squeeze the knees in. We're trying to keep the legs nicely in a parallel. That then goes down to my second toe. So I'm trying not to turn my feet towards each other, but I'm also not trying to turn them out. Now, sometimes when you really correct your feet, it can make it feel awkward through the knees or the hips. So the alignment is something that we'd like to work towards, but it hasn't got to be something that you feel you must get into the right position. It's just something to be aware of. So I told you, I'm not slumping into my chair. I'm just trying to sit right on the base of the sit bones, which brings the tips of my shoulders in line with the tips of my hips. And that's almost like a bit of a box or a rectangle, the tips of my hips and the tips of my shoulders. The head is trying to sit right on top of the spine. I'm trying not to hunch forward, but to keep the head back, almost like somebody had popped a book or something in front of you. You're looking at your screen and it's right in front of you. It's too close, and that's going to make you bring your head back. That's the sort of positioning we want. Rather than rounding forwards, head back on that spine. Okay. So here we go. Let's think about our breathing. I'll put my hands on my rib cage to help me think about that. And I'm going to start with my exhale, making it as deep and as full as I possibly can, so that then when I breathe in, I'm going to breathe in a little bit deeper to the base of my ribs, and I'm going to connect into my belly button as well. So when we breathe out, breathing out as fully and as deeply as we can, and then when I breathe in, got that nice connection into the bottom of the ribs and that connection into the belly button. Now, when we exhale, we can often feel the best contraction into the belly button and to the core. But to be honest, we want to be able to work our core whether we're breathing in or breathing out. So it's always on, it's always doing a little bit of work. Like I said, once we start moving our legs and our arms a bit more, you might want to think a little bit about pulling deeper, and then it will be better to maybe use the exhale. All right, let's shrug our shoulders. So we're going to bring them up as we breathe in and let them drop down as we breathe out. I'm going to go again, breathing in, bringing them up, and breathing out, dropping them down. Now I'm going to add in some things with my hands Join me when you're ready. When I shrug my shoulders up, I'm going to make fists. When I drop my shoulders down, I'm going to spread my fingers. So shrug the shoulders up, making some fists, dropping the shoulders down, spreading my fingers, shrugging the shoulders up, making some fists, dropping the shoulders down, spreading my fingers, twice more, shrugging the shoulders up, dropping the shoulders down, spread fingers, and again. Now I'm going to add in a little bit of rotation. When I bring my shoulders up, I'm going to turn them forward. As I drop them down, I'm spreading my fingers and turning them back. So we're trying to shrug up and bring them forward towards my chin, drop them down and bring them to the back of my chair. So I'm shrugging and they're coming forward. I'm dropping and I'm reaching them back. So it's quite a subtle, small movement. I'm not trying to do lots with my whole body, just really through that shoulder joint. And by now they may be starting to feel a little bit tired, like they've done quite a lot of work. So we will just go one more time, shrugging them up, dropping them down, and then rest those hands on those legs. Give them a little pause. Let's focus now on our feet right at the bottom. I'm going to lift my heels up and lower my heels down. I'm going to go again, lift my heels up and lower my heels down. And again, lift my heels up and lower my heels down. And I'm going to go again. So this is both heels lifting, both heels lowering. I'm going to come into a little bit more of a pony trot now. So I'm going to bring one heel up and then the other, and then one and then the other. Now at the moment, I'm doing this with my toes on the floor. So I'm just moving my heels, lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting. And then I'm going to start to bring my foot off the floor like I was doing a little bit more of a pony. Now already the abdominals have to work that little bit deeper as we go. So I'm trying to bring a leg off the floor, just a little foot off the floor, swapping and swapping. And we're going to do 4 and 3, strong tummy, 2 and 1, and then rest those feet down. Excellent. Give your shoulders a big roll all the way around and back and down. Now let's think a little bit about our spine. We've done shoulders, we've done feet. Let's think about that column in the middle of the body. We're going to do like a cat stretch. So we're going to be rounding the spine. I'll go side on so it's a little easier to see. So when I breathe out, I'm going to curve my backbone. And I'm actually going to slide my hands along my legs today towards my knees to really try and help me round the spine. And then when I sit up nice and tall, I'm going to pull my elbows back. I'm taking them right past the body. So as I round the spine forwards, I'm flexing, and then I'm coming up and bringing the elbows back. So as you do that, and you bring your elbows back, you might even arch your back a little bit. So it's probably easiest not to even think about arching your back, just to move naturally as you pull your elbows back. Otherwise it can become a little bit forced and a little bit more than is necessary. So we're rounding the spine and we're pulling the elbows back. And I'm rounding the spine and pulling the elbows back. Good. And I'm going to round the spine, draw the elbows back. And we're going one more time. Round the spine, draw the elbows back, and then have a little bit of a breather. Okay, all right. Now we need to do a little bit of twisting through the body. Let's start with thinking about the head and some twisting through the head. So that means we're going to look side to side. Hands are just resting on the legs. I'm going to twist to look to one shoulder, come back to the center, and twist to the other shoulder. Now I'm trying actually not to move my shoulders, but just to move my head. Okay, let's try that 4 more times. Twisting one side, twisting the other side, and again, and again. All right, now here's a tricky little one. I'm going to try and keep the head where it is, but I'm going to try and bring a shoulder and then back. And bring a shoulder, just go gentle, doesn't have to be a big movement. Shoulder, I'm trying to look straight ahead, shoulder. So I'm getting some twist through my torso, but not so much through my head and neck yet. So we'll do 4 more and 3 more. And you are using your abdominals to help you here, so don't worry about putting your belly button in nice and deeply. 1 more to go. Okay, all right. So now we're going to do it all together. The head and the shoulders are all going to move in one unit. Let's go that way first of all. Here we go. The whole body twists and center. The whole body twists. So it's like you're wringing your spine out. The head is now following where the shoulders are going. Turning one way and turning the other way. And turning one way and turning the other way. And then we'll have a little pause. Okay, let's travel a bit further down the body and think a little bit about our hips. Now you can keep your toes on the floor if you want, like we were doing we're starting with our pony trots, but I'm going to think of turning my leg out and turning my leg in. You might find it easier to lift the foot off the floor, okay? Nice and strong with the body. Now when I turn the leg in, I'm just bringing it back to parallel. So watch that you don't let the knee turn right into the other leg. It's just that parallel position. So you can have a toe off the floor and just swivel. We're swiveling the head of the femur in that hip socket. That's what's happening now. And the knee and the foot are following, so everything is turning on that side. But all the movement has started in at that hip. Now let's try the other hip. Remember, toes can be on the floor. I'm going to step my leg. I'm going to come out and then in. And I'm going to come out and then in. This movement is called open the gate and close the gate. Open the gate and close the gate. And it is the thigh bone that is being the gate, not the knee or the foot. Everything is following what's happening right up in at that hip joint. We're going to do a couple more. And we're going to do one more. And then pause. All right. So now we're going to start at the top. We're going to do the head on its own, the shoulders on its own, the head and the shoulders together, one leg, the other leg. All right, let's try and do 4 of everything. If you lose your way, just keep breathing, keep smiling, and it will all be done. We're going to go this way first of all. So 4, just the head. Over one shoulder and center. Over the other shoulder and center. And again. Over one shoulder and center, over the other shoulder. Now here we go. Head stays ahead. Can you move your shoulders? It probably looks clearer if I actually take my fingertips on my shoulders. You can do that as well if you want. Maybe that makes it a little easier. Now we're going to do everything. Everything. The head is going to follow as well. Tummy strong, pulling the belly button in. We've got 2 to go. We've got 1 to go, just this side. You're going to open the gate and close the gate. And again, open the gate and close the gate. Nice strong tummy, open the gate and close the gate. One more time, open the gate and close the gate. This leg, open the gate and close the gate. Open the gate and close the gate. Open the gate and close the gate. One more time, open the gate and close the gate. Good work. All right, that was a lot of movement through the body. We're now going to use the floor a little bit. These are the leg slides I talked about. Remember, you can tap your leg out if you want to. I'm going to really use the floor to give me some resistance as I pull my leg back in. So we're sitting nice and tall. We take a breath in. I'm going to keep my foot in contact with the floor and slide it out and then drag it back in like it's glued to the floor. Other leg, slide it out. And then draw it back in. And again, slide it out. And draw it back in. And again, slide it out. And draw it back in. Let me show you what it looks like if you're stepping. Comes out and in. You won't get that same work in the legs if you're stepping. So if you can think about dragging, that will work the muscles at the back of the legs nicely. Let's do one more on each side. And then this one. Excellent. All right, now we're going to try and add in that reach that we have with the arms and that pulling back. We're going to try and do that as well as doing a leg. So we're trying to incorporate the spine and the leg movements. If you just want to do the spine or just do the legs, that is fine. I'm going to slide my hands down both legs, but only one leg is going to move out. Okay? So we're sitting tall. We're breathing in. As we breathe out, I'm going to slide the leg around my spine and then I'm pulling my elbows back as I bring my leg back. Other leg, sliding out, reaching forwards and pulling back with your elbows. Good. Sliding out and coming in. Good. And again, you can think about breathing. This is almost like contemporary dance now. They use a lot of breath to help with some contemporary technique, which is all about this contraction, which is what we're doing here, reaching forward and coming back. We're doing one more on each side. Excellent. And then one more. Okay. We are going to try it together. Just give it a go. You can stay with the single legs if you prefer, or just do the spine movement if that is for you. Now, this is when we are definitely going to need some abdominal connection. So really thinking about pulling the belly button in quite nicely here. Sit tall and breathe in. As you breathe out, here we go. Slide the legs out and draw them back in. Good work. Slide them out. As you draw them back in, you're really using the hamstrings at the backs of the legs. Slide it out. Draw it back. And again, slide it out. Draw it back. And here we go. One more on. One more out. One more in. And then pause. Good. All right. Lot of work. Let's go back to thinking about that shoulder shrug with the fists and the fingers that I was talking about earlier. Okay. We're now talking about spreading our wings. We're going to work with our arms out at the side. Now, I'm bringing mine out to about this T shape, and I can see my fingers in my vision. If you don't have space, you can have your hands low or right down here. It gets quite tiring having them up here, but it will probably make it easier to see what my arms are doing. So let's just remind ourselves what we did. We made fists as we brought the shoulders up, and my knuckles are pointing forwards. I open my palms out as I drop my shoulders down. So I'm bringing my shoulders up and I'm making fists. I'm dropping my shoulders down and I'm spreading my fingers. So I'm going to try and do that with my arms out the side. So I'm going to bring my shoulders up and turn my knuckles forward and then draw my shoulders down and spread my fingers wide, stretching. So little fists. And then long reaching fingers. Good. Little fists. And long reaching fingers. And there's only one more because I know it's a lot of work. Little fists. And long reaching fingers. And then release that down. Good work. Big shoulder circle all the way around. There's been quite a lot of work, and particularly that last one, a lot of work through the shoulders. We've had a lot of twisting. We've had a lot of sliding. So it's time for some stretching now. So we'll start with the head and the neck. We're going to incline the head to one side. So rather than twisting, you're looking ahead and just letting an ear drop down. If this is comfortable for you, you might want to reach your hand down to the ground and just wiggle your fingers gently. That will just increase that stretch through the side of the neck. If it's too much for you, don't worry about those wiggling fingers. Just stay as it is, with your hand reaching down, or keep your hand on your leg. We're going to breathe in. And then as you breathe out, we're going to roll the chin to the chest. So you're looking at your belly and then float your head up. All right, we'll do the other side. So we've got ear to shoulder. You're going to reach your other hand down, long fingers there, reaching to the floor. You can give them a wiggle. Now, if this doesn't suit you on this side, you stop wiggling or you pop your hand on the leg. Either of those is fine. And then very gently, we're going to draw the chin to the chest, rest the hand on the leg and come up. Okay, let's have a little twist now with our torso. I'm going to bring one hand across me onto my leg. The other hand is going to hold around on the back of the chair. And I'm going to twist and look behind me. Now my head is looking behind me as well. So nice big twist through the torso. I'm going to stay there to breathe in. I'm going to stay there to breathe out. I'm going to stay there to breathe in. And stay there to breathe out. And last time to breathe in. And as you breathe out, we're going to come back to center. Okay, other hand across on the leg, other hand on the chair. We're going to sit up tall. And as we breathe out, we're twisting. So the head is looking, if that's comfortable. You're going to breathe in. And breathe out. Have a little bit more twist. Good. We'll breathe in. And we'll breathe out. A little bit more twist. And again, we're going to breathe in. Breathe out, a little bit more twist, and then we'll come all the way back to center. Now with this one, you can have your hand across you can have it on the chair if you want. I'm going to reach this arm up and I'm going to lean over to the side and then come back to center, same way. If you have your hand across the body, it's going to make it a little harder. But you can have both arms across the body as well if you want, or you can have one hand by your side. We're going to do 5 in total, little side bend. We have 1 to go. All right, so let's do the other side. So your hand can be on the chair to support you. If you want to use your abdominals more, you bring your hand across you. If this is too heavy for you, you bring both hands across you. If you prefer, you're holding onto your chair. And then 1 more. We go across and we come back. Good. Now we need to give these legs a bit of a stretch out because they work very hard with our slides. So we're going to take one to straight and just lean the body forwards. Now I'm trying not to round my spine, but just think that I'm hinging and tipping forwards. You should feel that nice stretch through the back of the leg. Up high is the hamstring, down low is the calf. They both connect into each other, so you might feel it at the top, might feel it at the bottom. Either is fine. You're going to stay here as you breathe in, as you breathe out, as you breathe in, as you breathe out, and then reset. Let's do the other side. We're going to slide that leg out. We're going to hinge the body forwards. We're going to stay there to breathe in and to breathe out. So you might be getting calf, you might be getting hamstring, you might be getting a little of both. Breathe in and breathe out. And again, breathe in and breathe out. And then just bring everything back to center. Good work. Let's just give your fingers a little shake, little piano fingers just to get the blood flowing through there. I'm giving my toes a little bit of a wiggle as well. Excellent. And we're just going to finish today with some shoulder shrugs. So feet are relaxed, arms are by your sides. We'll inhale to shrug the shoulders up and exhale, just drop them down. No fists or spread fingers. Just shrugging them up as you breathe in, dropping them down as you breathe out. And one more time, up and drop, and we're done. Thanks for joining me today. A couple of different things for you. Hope you enjoyed the extra variations and exercises we had today. Have a lovely rest of your day.